Kellyman. For the record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency. Visit energy.gov.ky or follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram. And by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more.
This is For the Record with Orett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Kellyman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees, so fair. Today is Monday, the 24th day of April, 2023. Right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands, we hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable weekend. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, including using your indicators whenever you're navigating a roundabout, or if you're changing lanes, or if you're turning, don't wait until you get right up to the corner before you put your indicators on as well. Let the other road users know well in advance what you're doing. And folks, believe me, if you do so, the life that you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, and we want to wish you a happy birthday, and to remind you that the For the Record birthday shout-outs are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, whose advice to you is to don't take chances with your family's future. And also, More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture, tap into your roots. More Than Words, located on the second floor of the Thompson building. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. This morning again, it is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube. You do that simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. We're also on Facebook as well. So again, folks, to remind you that this segment of For the Record, the birthday shout-outs are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Kellyman Insurance Center. Don't take chances with your family's future is his advice to you today. And also, the birthday shout-outs are brought to you by More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture, tap into your roots. More Than Words, second floor of the Thompson building. So let's see who's celebrating birthdays today. Ebanks, we're told, celebrating his birthday today, 77 years old. Also, Loretta Grizel, celebrating a birthday today. Mr. David Curry, he celebrated his birthday yesterday. And tomorrow, Ann Morgan will be celebrating her birthday, and Tori Jackson will also be celebrating a birthday. So those are the birthday shout-outs today. Again, proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Kellyman Insurance Center. Don't take chances with your family's future is his advice to you. And also, More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture, tap into your roots. More Than Words, second floor, Thompson building. So, folks, I have two very distinguished guests in the studio with me this morning, and neither of them are strangers to Radio Kellyman, and also a third person in the studio, and who's also not a stranger to Radio Kellyman. But before I introduce them, I just want to give you some background information, and it has to do with the fact that the Ministry of Innovation, Investment and Social Development and the Department of Children and Family Services, in collaboration with other key stakeholders, have developed and implementing communication strategies which promote topics that are of interest to older persons, provide awareness and information on subjects relating to older persons, highlight our history and our culture and the experiences of older persons, also to encourage the engagement and involvement of older persons in society, to provide avenues for the voice of older persons to be heard, and to augment intergenerational interactions. So the Older Persons Council, established in 2017, promotes and evaluates the implementation of the Older Persons Policy and its action plan. The Council promotes participation in all activities impacting the lives of older persons. So the once per month for the record, the once per month for the record session with special focus on older persons is aired on the third Monday of the month and is a collaboration between the Ministry of Social Development and the Department of Children and Family Services, the Older Persons Council, and Radio Kellyman as well. So with that, I have said my part. It is now my pleasure to introduce our guests and to say good morning to Miss Lois Kellyman, who is tell you what, we're going to change all our strategies this morning. I'm going to have each of them introduce themselves. I've done enough talking for the morning already. So let's start with you, Miss Lois.
Good morning, OC. Good morning, radio audience. I know some of you will catch that OC said it's the third Monday of every month that we do this. And today is not the third
right,
Monday.
Yes,
we know that. But we weren't able to do it on the third Monday, so we're doing it today. We trust that you will enjoy the show. My name is Lois Kellyman. I'm the social work manager responsible for community development at the Department of Children and Family Services. And I'll turn it over to our next guest.
Sure.
Ladies before gentlemen.
Yes.
Good morning, OC and the others in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning to our Radio Cayman family. I am pleased to be here this morning. A grandmother, I love to say that, of one.
Congrats.
Of course, a mother. A teacher by heart. And I'm now the retired rector of St. George's Anglican Church in these islands. By starting to say I'm a grandmother, it means I'm a senior citizen. And I must say I am enjoying this stage of life. Now, to the other guest.
Hey.
Good morning. I'm a grandfather. Good morning, Radio Cayman audience. I'm Pastor Alson, Ebanks. Yes, I'm a grandfather, proud grandfather. You have one grandchild, I have one grandchild. She's 5 and full of life. And I guess today, in fact, in church, maybe it would have been yesterday, might have been Saturday. I have so many opportunities to talk, but I was just talking about reflection. I was just reflecting on the fact that, at my age, my desire, my hope is that I'll see my granddaughter graduate from school, from college, and that one day she'll, after she gets married, walk up and put her arm around me and greet me. Now, that would mean that I'll be very old by then, but that's one of my big desires.
Okay, so Ms. Loy, I'm going to ask you to introduce our topic this morning, and right away I can see us getting into it because both pastors have spoken about grandchildren, and that is probably a part of the process of this topic that you're going to tell us about as well, in terms of the rediscovering me. So becoming a grandparent, is that a new discovery? And what is that all about as well?
So, as you said, this morning's theme is Rediscovering Me. We're going to cover a number of topics under the theme. But the whole idea for the theme is that as we grow older, it's not time to just say, okay, we're getting there, we've done that, we've been there, done that, there's nothing more for us to do. It's about looking back at our lives, looking at where we come from, where we are now, and realizing that there still is hope. There's many things that we still have and that we are able to participate in and that we can do. But some of that takes some reflection on who we are, and what our life experiences have been to this date. So we know that aging comes with many challenges, but the thing is to move forward and to face those challenges and to move on and to still do the things that give you joy in life and make things positive. So under this topic, we have different themes. We're going to look a little bit about reflection and reminiscing. We're going to look at personal growth, because we're never too old to learn, and we should continue that process. We're going to look at the process of meditation and the benefits that has for older persons, and we're going to look at spirituality. So we're trying to cover the sort of mindfulness aspect of aging.
Okay, that's a good juncture for us to take a commercial break. And I should say to our listening and viewing audience as well that at some point during the course of the show, we will open up the phone lines for you to interact with our panelists this morning as well. So, folks, we're going to take our first commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
James Malcolm Eden, 1901 to 1972. Malcolm Eden was born in Loire Valley to Mrs. L.T. Isabel Eden and James Manoah Eden. He was a hard-working man who worked from a young age as a seaman and joined the Merchant Marine in the United States. He also worked as a butcher, farmed, raised cattle, and served as a vestryman for many years. He was a lifetime elder of the Presbyterian Church of Savannah. He had 6 sisters, Clydine, Sybil, Elvira, Norma, Jeray, and Louise, and 3 brothers, Stoschel, Montreville, and Bailey.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
They say you only live once. I say you only die once, but you live every day. I'm Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, longtime supporter of Radio Cayman. Live your life, my friends. Happiness is in the journey, not the destination. When you're ready, I'm here to support you with the best financial decisions for your family's future. Cayman Insurance Center, protecting you and your family so you can take back your future. I'm Michael Webster, the sure way to protect your family. Call me when you're ready at 925-5433. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets.
Think life insurance.
More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture. Tap into your roots. More Than Words bookstore in the Thompson Building. Supplies local books, gifts, trinkets, keepsakes, wall plaques, and journals. The hub for local authors. More Than Words. So much more. More Than Words is now open. Shop number 4, second floor, Thompson Building. Or call 936-5544.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning the social work manager at the Department of Children and Family Services, Miss Lois Kellyman. Also with us, Reverend Mayor Graham and Pastor Alson Ebanks. And we are talking as part of our celebrating our celebration of our older persons here in the Cayman Islands. The topic, the theme this morning is Rediscovering Me. And you heard Miss Lois earlier spoke to you about some of the following areas that we will cover. So we will go to the first one, reflection, reminiscing, and self-reflection. Miss Lois.
So as we get older, it seems as if people tend to reminisce more. And so that's one of the things that we want to explore a little bit about today. It's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we, as younger people, we will say, "Oh, Granny or Mommy keeps talking and telling us the same story over and over." But it's not necessarily a bad thing. And they're talking about olden days. It's not a bad thing for them to reminisce. So we just want to explore that a little more, and we have our two guests here, and I guess for any one of them who want to answer this question, is it true that people tend to reminisce more from what you have found?
Well, the longer you live, the more you have to think about it.
There you go.
It's sort of logical. Uh-huh. And so, yes, I think the thing about youth is that people haven't lived long enough to have much to reminisce about. And so when they complain about us old folks always going over the same things, it's because we see things through the lens of experience, and sometimes we can interpret and make adjustments in some of our actions, whereas growing up, we simply didn't know what we were doing. So I think in that sense, we tend to do that as a tool for teaching, but also as a tool for ourselves, because it helps us as we reflect on things we did or didn't do to make better judgments. There are things that I did when I was a college student that I would never do again. And so my reminiscing and reflection helps me say, okay, I did that then. But at that point in my life, that portion of the brain that's called consequential thinking, which is a physiological as well as a psychological process, had not fully developed. I'm sure of that. Because I know at this point in time, I would never do that again.
And what about predictability as well? You know, because of the fact that you have experienced more, and they say history never repeats itself, but it comes pretty close to it. So there are things that you can almost, accurately predict that are likely to happen based on whatever action that you take, Reverend Graham.
And that is true. Reminiscing also enables you to, as Pastor Al was saying before, to cast a new light on the experiences And when you see history kind of repeating itself, you say, well, okay, this happened. How can I now put a new spin on what is about to take part? And yes, history does have a way of repeating itself. But with past experiences, we are more open to asking, do I take the path I took before? Or, with all the experiences behind me, and seeing, and I will go, the hand of God throughout the era, do I trust that hand enough to take risking a new path?
Okay.
So, what are some of the things that older persons reminisce about? What are some of the things you find yourselves reminiscing about?
Well, no, you're asking for a whole library. But I think it's always contextual. In other words, when we're in certain contexts or certain situations, then we draw on that particular book from the library and we go back and we use it to, for our own selves as well as a teaching point to talk to someone who doesn't maybe know us. I mean, one of the things that I do on a regular basis is I reflect, and I do that audibly, sometimes in the pulpit, sometimes in other contexts, on the changes that have taken place in the 70-something years that I've been alive in Cayman. I mean, we've gone from what they used to say, an island that time forgot, to a place that is actually, and I think, you can corroborate this, it's faster paced than New York.
Yes.
You know, the people who come here and think, this is a nice place to retire. It's so easy, the island. They haven't seen anything until they start living here. So those again, I think it's the context, just for myself, but others. And I know at times the people that we're reflecting with, as it were, they may think, there they go again. But often it's for our own benefit, because I think one of the things that happens as you get older and you're talking about reflection, there is a sense in which we are sort of experiencing a level of mourning about what we've lost. So this process of mourning the loss and preparing for our own departure, it's part of that reminiscing and thinking about it. You know, this is what life. Now we probably tend to idealize the past a lot. We think things were much better.
Yes.
I mean, although when we think of the mosquitoes, they weren't that great, and and the buck toes on the road and all that sort of stuff, it wasn't that great. But the point is, it is something that I think the idea here is that it's both good and bad in a sense of how it could play out for us.
Okay, folks, we reached that point where we have to go to our 8 o'clock news, top of the hour. When we return, the conversation with Lois Kellyman, Reverend Mary Graham, and Pastor Alson Ebanks will continue. We're talking about Rediscovering Me, and we want to get you involved in the conversation as well. We will do that at some juncture during the show. Of course, you want to remember these numbers, our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. If you don't want to talk, then email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord, at candw.ky, or WhatsApp us 925-3261. Please stay tuned for The Record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock. At Foster's, we have over 70 big deals to help you save more on your groceries.
Just like St. Ives Facial Scrub, 6 ounce, just $4.39, save $2.20. Or locally made boxed meals, 10 ounce, selected varieties, only $8.49, save $2.
And you'll also find a Checo pasta sauce, 400 gram varieties, $3.59, save $1. Head in store for more great specials or shop online with Foster's Go. Foster's, better prices because we care.
Price is good until May 3rd, 2023.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. The opposition comes out swinging after claiming the MP for West Bay West, the Honourable Mikiva Bush, has been appointed to the Public Accounts Committee. The PAC is a standing committee of Parliament whose role is to scrutinize the reports of the Auditor General regarding government expenditure. The members of the opposition in a written statement said they received notice Thursday evening that the Premier wanted Mr. Bush to replace the Minister, the Honourable Dwayne Seymour, on the PAC. Mr. Bush is set to appear in Grand Court later this year, facing 2 counts of indecent assault for relation to an incident involving 2 women at a formal event back in September. Also in December 2020, he was handed a suspended sentence for assault charges leveled against him after an incident with a female bar manager in February that year. No official word from the Office of the Premier whether or not that appointment has gone through. In other news,
we need to act boldly, innovate broadly, and implement equitably.
Speaking to this year's Earth Day theme, Invest in Our Planet, Premier the Honourable Wayne Panton says sustainability is the path to prosperity for humanity and businesses alike.
Achieving a balance between our environment, our economy, and society is essential to ensuring we can maximize the benefits of sustainable development to benefit our people both now and in the future. That is what sustainability means to me.
Mr. Panton says in particular, unsustainable development and climate change are risks, not just to Cayman's physical environment, but, quote, to our unique Caymanian culture and to the lives and livelihoods of current and future generations. Over the weekend, thousands of residents took part in many community cleanups in observation of Earth Day. And Cayman Airways Limited has issued a reminder for passengers traveling to Honduras.
Cayman Airways is reminding passengers traveling to La Ceiba that to help prevent delaying their flight, all travel documents required by the Honduran government for entry into the country must be completed and submitted online before they arrive at the airport to check in. The Honduran government recently made it mandatory for all passengers of all nationalities traveling to and from Honduras to complete their customs declaration form online.
That's Senior Marketing and Public Relations Manager at Cayman Airways there, Olivia Scott Ramirez. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. The EU Foreign Policy Chief, Josep Borrell, has said there can be no military solution to the fighting in Sudan, and the international community must push the rival generals towards a political resolution of the crisis. Though an Eid truce failed to hold, there has been a lull in the fighting. The environmental campaign group Greenpeace says China's local governments approved more than 20 gigawatts of new coal power capacity in the first quarter of this year, more than was generated during the whole of 2021. Environmental activists have been blocking traffic in the German capital Berlin in a protest at what they see as the government's lack of urgency in tackling the warming climate. Kenya's President William Ruto has described the actions of a Christian cult that's suspected of having encouraged mass suicide as akin to terrorism. He accused the cult's leader, Paul Mackenzie Ntenge, of using religion to advance heinous acts. Hundreds of garment workers in Bangladesh have demonstrated for justice as survivors wept on the ruins of a factory that collapsed 10 years ago, killing more than 1,100 people. Russia has urged Azerbaijan and Armenia to comply with the ceasefire agreed in 2020. The Russian statement comes a day after Azerbaijan established a checkpoint at a supply route to the disputed territory of Nagorno-Karabakh. China has announced plans to try to use 3D printing technology to construct buildings on the moon. State media said that during the future Chang'e 8 mission set for 2028, a robot will attempt to use lunar soil to make bricks. The Nepalese government has issued a record 454 permits to climb Mount Everest this spring season. 96 of those permits have been issued to Chinese climbers, the biggest group so far. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 77%. The barometric pressure is 29.89 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 3 knots. Overnight low temperature was 76 degrees. Synopsis indicate light winds and seas are expected across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours due to a weak pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean. Satellite images show a few low clouds over the Cayman area. Now the forecast for today, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of afternoon showers, and temperatures today will be in the mid-80s with a heat index of 93 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be a hot day. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be smooth with wave heights of less than 2 feet. Tonight, mainly fair skies with a 20% chance of showers and temperatures falling to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be smooth with wave heights of less than 2 feet as well. We're presently at a low tide, and the next high tide will be this afternoon at a minute after 12, and a low tide again this evening at 6:30. The sun will set this evening at 6:44 and will rise tomorrow morning at a minute after 6. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through tomorrow evening. That's the very latest on your weather report.
Hey guys, I got a joke for you. What did one ocean say to the other? I don't know. Nothing. It just waved.
I don't get it.
An ocean? It waves to another ocean.
Oceans can't wave. They don't have hands.
What?
How would they even see each other? They don't have eyes either.
Seriously, how are you not getting this?
Oceans aren't even alive. Nothing you said makes sense.
With most claims paid within a few days, we're like a friend that doesn't miss the joke. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong series. The Cayman Strong series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking, change your life. There's no great success without commitment.
As motivational speaker Tony Robbins said, individuals who succeed have a belief in the power of commitment. If there's a single belief that seems almost inseparable from success, it's that there's no great success without commitment. If you look at successful people in any field, you'll find they're not necessarily the best and the brightest, the fastest and the strongest. You'll find they're the ones with the most commitment.
Change your thinking, change your life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong series. The Cayman Strong series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. Busy traffic coming off of the Esteli-Tibbetts Highway heading towards the roundabout and continuing on to North Sound Road. Busy traffic. Traffic is also busy coming from the east on Shamrock Road, further down on Shamrock Road, and also the Linford-Pearson Highway, delays expected. And busy traffic as well on Cool Road heading to Georgetown, and eastbound traffic on Cool Road is moving on pretty good. As we look to downtown Georgetown on Edward Street, flowing nicely. And on the West Bay Road heading to Georgetown in front of the Ritz, traffic is steady. And a moderate flow of traffic heading to the West Bay area on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz. And into Georgetown on Shedden looking pretty good. Out of Georgetown on Shedden, light to moderate traffic flow. And traffic coming off of Bobby Thompson Way is busy, delays expected. And the usual traffic flow on the Walkers Road heading to Georgetown. And coming from the West Bay four-way stop, traffic is moving along moderately. That's what's happening on your roads. If you see any accidents or incidents on Cayman's roads, make sure you give us a call here at Radio Cayman, 949-6990. Have a good morning and drive safe.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist. Or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Can you tell me what does a turtle do on his birthday? He celebrates.
Celebrate your loved one's special birthday with a birthday shout-out live on For the Record with Mr. Orett Connor, only on Radio Cayman. WhatsApp your loved one's name to 925-3261. That's 925-3261. Radio Cayman's birthday shout-outs live on For the Record with Mr. Orett Connor every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Brought to you by life insurance agents Michael Webster and Randy Lawson from Kellyman Insurance Center. Don't take chances with your family's future.
For the record, with Orett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Kellyman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record as part of our series celebrating older persons in the Cayman Islands. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning the social work manager at the Department of Children and Family Services, Mr. Lois Kellyman. Also in the studio with us, Reverend Mary Graham and Pastor Alson Ebanks. We're talking about Rediscovering Me, some of the areas that we will be focusing on, reflection, reminiscing and self-reflection, personal growth, meditation, and spirituality as well. So when we look at other areas in terms of and suggestions, again, this I'm looking at a website, and it speaks about rediscovering yourself. Start by visualizing your ideal self. So again, part of the reflection process as well. Ms. Loy, over to you.
So, Ossie, as we were talking this morning, we were saying that aging comes with challenges. But the good news is that there are steps that we can take to make the goal of aging easier and more and aging gracefully more attainable. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at taking some time to stop and rediscover ourselves. And this is something that even as younger people we should be doing. Mm-hmm. But obviously as we get older, sometimes we have more time to do these things. So we're looking at where we at now, where we're coming from, and where it is we want to be. Like you say, that sort of ideals kind of thing. As they say, if you don't have a goal, you don't have anything to work towards. And sometimes we know we set goals high, and we probably won't attain them, but we get partway there and we're good. So as we look at, I just wanted to touch on something in terms of a research that was done by older persons clinician in the UK. And one of his things, he was saying that in research studies, aging is naturally associated with undesirable issues of physical decline and social loss, but it is also associated with a positive issue of personal growth and development, which is more likely when people have hope, are not lonely, and maintain their health. And that other studies exploring the experience of aging describe that positive processes can occur, such as developing an acceptance of ill health, mm-hmm. and a sense of accomplishment and improving the well-being of others. So sometimes religion and family life are associated with these processes, but they're not confined to people who are religious or who are those with children. So what it's saying is that we can still have a positive outcome from this. We also want to just remind our listening audience that while we're talking about older persons and kind of speaking to them, that we're also speaking to their family members, because we're here together. That's why families are here, mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm, and mm-hmm. That's why no man is an island, because we're all here. We should all be here for each other. So while I might not be an older person when I listen to this, it should give me some tips and some information as to what happens in an older person's life, the challenges they face, but how can I help to alleviate some of those challenges? How can I help them along the way? Okay. So in saying that, one of the things we recognize is that reminiscing and self-reflection is not always positive, because sometimes it takes us to some painful times in our lives.
Or dark places, right?
Yeah. So how do we, I'm going to ask my panelists, Reverend Mary, how do we kind of get past that?
Okay, before we ask Reverend Graham to answer that. We do have a caller. Let's grab the caller.
Okay.
Maybe what that caller has to say will be included in this as well. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Of course, I love this topic, love. But talk about, older people expressing ourselves, and, we have to carry the gauntlet. We got to throw it down at some time here in the near future, we got to carry the baton, but we have to give it up, and so on and so forth. Well, toward this, a good friend of mine, Mr. George Gillette, authored a little book, and I really enjoyed that little book. It brought back so many memories, because we here in Cayman are a simple people, but we have so much to be thankful for, so much to be grateful to God for. So I'm just wondering, this august panel and the privilege they've been given to manage such a program, if we could encourage our people to put pen to paper, as well as, speak on, all of the devising and the IT that we have, but also to put pen to paper and to help us reminisce and to feel that need for our own nostalgia, to put our history down on paper, to give us an opportunity to know ourselves, because we must write our own history and we need to know. So I'm just wondering if it is a part of this program going forward, or something like that, we could have that, we could all own a little piece of it. And as there's a little place upstairs, Thompson Building, that I hear about on this program every now and again, I'm just wondering if, the panel has any plans, or if the panel, if they have any plans to do something like that with our elderly.
So, Osi, I can respond to that.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yes, caller. The book by Mr. Gillette is very entertaining. It's very easy to read. It's not a long book, but he loaned me a copy. I think his last copy, actually, he loaned me to read, and it took a while for me to get to read it because I was just so caught up in doing other things. But it was really an easy read, and it did bring me back to some of the things in my childhood. So I could, there are places he talks about, and I could see them again as I read it. And I do agree that our older persons, we should be encouraging them to write. I mean, I keep telling Miss Mary every time I see her, I say, Miss Mary, you write that book. I've been asking her for years. And I think she told me the other day that she, has started to put pen to paper. But there's so much history that will be lost if we don't record it and we don't write it down. Now, I know there have been talks from a government perspective. We have had that discussions in the Department of Children and Family Services to work with a number of our older persons in our senior fellowship groups to be able to record their stories, have them write them, record them, and publish them, or keep them and keep them in some format that we can
memory bank,
yes, in a memory bank. There are older persons that we want to still interview. I know the archives have a lot of interviews on persons, but there are older persons, again, that we still want to interview. OCU and I have spoken about one that we're hoping to do shortly. And I know the Ministry of Culture, responsible for culture, is also looking at something like this as well. So, yes, we're going to get there. And yes, we want to record everything that as many of our older persons as we can. Sometimes putting pen to paper is not easy for them, but if we sit down and they tell us, and we record it and then write it back out for them. So we're working on that. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that, caller. As we were, I don't know if you have anything to say.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the things that we were talking about in the
caller's still there though. She's still there.
Okay. So caller, is there anything else you want to add? But sorry.
No. Just to remind all of us that we don't want other people to write our history, and because it won't be exact, and just to say that, because this is long time needed, very, very long time needed. So I'm enjoying the fact that we are finally getting in the race, go where we should go, and as you spoke up the last of your conversation here, it says to me that you have intentions of, I would say, shepherding this project, knowing that you can't leave it for the family and this and that. You have to get in there and put muscle behind an idea to let it flourish, to let it come to fruition. So I thank you very much for that. And just to say to all of you, good morning. And I don't know if Mary Grace or Mary Gray I'm thinking of.
She's getting ready to speak to you.
Yeah. But, Pastor Alson, that voice.
Yes.
That voice. And we need product, Pastor Alson. We need product because I'm going back to work, and we need product. Thank you.
Reverend Gray?
I was just going to say, caller, that you hit the nail on the head, because your story is very important, and no one from outside can write your story for you. It must come from you. And one of the wonderful things too of reminiscing and all that is that you pass on your story to the next generation. And I find that there is not a lot of that encouraged, because before older persons were able to go into the school freely and share their culture and share their life and share their stories. And as an educator of, years before, I truly enjoyed that, and I too learned a lot about that. Another point you said that was very important, that at some time we have to pass on the gauntlet, to let go. And many times society just expects us to let go like that, and that is not an easy thing. And so we have to be prepared in groups like this where you meet and everything, to let go, to pass the baton on to those coming.
Yes. Caller, I want to thank you. Thank you very much for that. We're going to take a commercial break, and then when we return, Reverend Graham, you still have to answer Miss Kellyman's question in relation to that. We haven't forgotten that as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Ensuring your walls, ceilings, and floors are properly sealed against air leaks is an important step in lowering your monthly energy bills. Even small gaps around windows, under doors, or around lighting and plumbing fixtures can add up to as much air loss as having an open window.
The do-it-yourself energy audits on energy.gov.ky make it easy to find ways to save energy and money in your home or business.
Complete an energy audit of your home or business before 31st of May 2023 to be entered into a prize giveaway. Prizes include a $5,000 gift certificate to Home Gas and gift certificate certificates to Cooling Pros, Foam Pros, Cosculest, and Foster's.
To learn more, visit energy.gov.ky today and follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram.
You have the power to help keep your child healthy. Making sure that your child sees a public health nurse for wellness checks and recommended vaccines is one of the best things you can do to protect your child and community from serious diseases that are easily spread. Each vaccine counts. Call the Public Health Department today on 244-2648 to schedule your appointment. This message is brought to you by the Public Health Department in conjunction with the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record as part of our Celebrating Older Person here in the Cayman Islands with the Ministry and the Department of Children and Family Services. We're talking this morning about rediscovering oneself, rediscovering me. That conversation has taken place with Miss Lois Kellyman, who is the Social Work Manager at the Department of Children and Family Services, Reverend Mary Graham, and Pastor Alson Ebanks as well. Reverend Graham, back over to you.
Thank you very much, O.C. One of the things Miss Lois said was reminiscing can be good, and reminiscing can have its negative effects, because sometimes, not sometimes, in all of our lives, there are periods of darkness. And when we reminisce, either we flee from the darkness or we allow the darkness to pull us down in a sort of depression. But we are reminded that if there is someone that can sit with us in the darkness and guide us through, light will come. I remember once as a chaplain, and I can speak about it because it is in North America, going into a room and saying to the lady, good morning, I'm Mary and I'm the chaplain. She said, and the church has thrown me out. And she said it with such pain. And I said, but God has not thrown you out. And I sat with her, and indeed hers was a painful story. And it was to do with abuse of her son and everything. And it was not a darkness that she would want to sit in, but being there, not to force my beliefs or anything on her, but to allow her to share and to know that someone was not there to judge, but someone was there to walk with her through that dark part in her life. Allowed her to grieve, to mourn, and then to say, thank you for being with me. Now I can try to move on, because what she recognized in that her physical illness was really a manifestation of that dark place in her life that had wounded her so deeply that although years had passed, she had not really moved on. And therefore it behoves us, to be there to listen to persons and their stories, no matter how painful that story is, and to just walk with them through, so that, as it were, they can come to the light that is always with us, even in the pit of the darkness.
Pastor Alson, you want to add to that?
I think you're so right about that, because just sharing the story, and not self-talk is different, but talking to somebody else, somehow or another, we're able to, in a sense, transfer some of that burden, and someone is helping us carry that. You know, one of the things that is a huge responsibility, and for pastors, if you're going to be a pastor, you have to be prepared to listen to stories that you can never share.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You'll have to listen to some deep, painful stories that you can never share. Well, you cannot share them horizontally. Mm-hmm. You need to share them vertically.
Yes.
You need to get them off your shoulders. And you find that sometimes it's a long time that you are there working and pastoring and listening, and the people develop that trust, and at a certain point they're way up there in their age, and they have a conversation with you, and they begin to ask them questions, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to risk talking to my pastor about something in my past that I don't want anybody else to know about, because I've got to get it off. And those are the things that I'm talking about, that as a pastor you don't include in your biography. You don't talk to anybody about them. You're grateful that the person has that much trust and confidence or whatever in you, but you realize it was therapeutic for them, and you're part of that therapy. And probably all of us have things that at some point in time we're going to want to talk to somebody about, because right now we're still carrying them, and we can't find anyone that we can say trust us sort of to share this burden with us. So yeah, it's really, really, really important.
Okay. And I will jump in there and say, Pastor Alson, and I know you would have experienced it, but when you're walking with a person and they dig deep down and the burden is relieved, sometimes you can see it in their gait. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you see the brightness return to the eyes, and you can only say, God, we thank you.
And another thing too is that there is an element there of sadness. You realize, if that person had been able to share this with somebody years before, some of the choices, the decisions, the places they went would not have happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
One of our listeners has written and said two things that they lament. One, that Cayman culture is now denied and marginalized due to the lack of written or recorded documentation. Persons say that they say this for the older people. Older persons prided themselves on being literate, but perhaps this information age generation is less able to interview and document for themselves and for posterity. Also, they lament that the churches collectively have failed to educate and prepare present and future youth for Christian service roles, pastoral, Sunday school teachers, and even music/choir leaders, especially the churches with schools who should be given more scholarships for young church leaders. Any comments on that?
I have a comment, and that is, I think one of the things that churches or church people are just as guilty of as anybody, and that is giving the wrong idea about what education is about. Mm-hmm. You know, I've been an educator myself, teacher for many years. Were you one of my students? I'm sorry. No.
I was at school when you were teaching, Pastor Alson.
But and we tell them this is very significant, important, terrible lie. You need to get an education so that you can get a job in order to make money. Mm-hmm. And Christian schools and Christian career guidance give people that. The reason you get an education, I say, is not to get a job and make money. An education in the biggest sense is to bring out the potential that you have within you. And you may decide that the potential you have is not about getting a job. It's about serving in a particular way, whatever that job is, but it's not about money. And so I think it's important for us to rediscover the truth about the potential that's packaged in every. The sad thing when you see it is you see children, when you see them when they're young and innocent, and you see the potential in them, and then all of a sudden along the way they sort of get lost on some track, and it's now about keeping up with the Joneses or whatever the case may be, or whatever social media says you're supposed to keep up with. But then unfortunately, then we adults feed the information into them. Well, you really need to get an education so you can get a job and make money. It's like, okay, that's what it's about. So what if I can make money without getting an education? There are quick ways to make money. Some of them smarter than we are. They go in that direction. So I think, yes, all of us, churches, schools, and everybody else, we need to understand, especially in Kellyman, because we're just such a fast-paced place, and the emphasis is on advancement, and money is tied to that. And the number of persons who may have chosen the wrong career because that was the emphasis. That's a sad commentary, really. So that's my take on that.
Reverend Graham?
I agree with Pastor Al. You see the children open, and somehow we stifle them, pushing them in a tunnel along what we want them to have. It is like they're our little machines, and we feed them the way we think they should go, instead of allowing them. I mean, we have a point to play, but instead of enhancing the creativity and bringing out what is really in them, and allowing them, many times we don't talk about service until they're an adult and they're earning, and then we say, okay, you can join this group, that group, and serve. We forget that we are all called to serve. Many times parents, because they did not achieve as society may have said, etc., they push the children to live, or they live their lives through their child at the detriment of the children. Yes.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break, but when we return, one of our listeners wanted to know if you had any, what advice can you give in relation to older person who has lost a partner, and how do they go about coping with that loss? How can they go about, coping with that loss again? How can they rediscover themselves now without that partner as well? Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
West Bay Pharmacy. Personalized medicine, customized care to meet your specific needs. Your body is unique to you. Your medicine should be too. Whether you're seeking individual specific medication, correct size dosages, or simply better tasting medicine, ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about how compounding at West Bay Pharmacy can increase your treatment options, not only for your family, but for your pets too. West Bay Pharmacy, open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sundays and most holidays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Kellyman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. No, can't stop me when I taste the feel. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Kellyman.
Can you imagine your home completely organized?
At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
For the record, with Orett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Kellyman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Miss Lois Kellyman, Reverend Mayor Graham, and Reverend Pastor Alson Ebanks as well. So, question in relation to an older person who has lost their partner. How do they rediscover themselves after being with a partner for so long? You start to, develop those synergies, those connections, and then all of a sudden you lose that. How do you readjust?
You know what? I wish there was one answer to that. Really, I mean, I think one of the things that people need who've been together, as like my parents, for example, they were married forever, and then when my mother was sick, my father went into the well, I guess it's something you develop earlier on, but the idea of sort of you are going into anticipatory grief. You're anticipating the loss, and so in a sense it makes the final loss a little easier. But the process sometimes with older people is very painful, and I can share this. My mother, she was aging, she was a little younger than my dad, so when she passed she was actually younger than he was 93 when he passed. But my father was always corpus mentis up until the end, but my mom was developing dementia, Alzheimer's. So there was a sense in which he was grieving the loss of his wife before she died. I think, Mary, you said something earlier about, it's only this, what are the commercial says something about you only...
die once.
Yeah, die once. So, no, you may die several times.
Yes.
In that sense, it's anticipatory grief kind of thing. So one of the important things is for people to really still be connected to a family. The family, I mean, I have 5 sisters, and I'm glad of that. My father lamented that he had, in a sense, just one son in that family connection there. But later on, I think he appreciated the fact, you know what? Girls are so important because there are things they can do with my mom and take care of her, and with even him, that, I didn't do. It was not as comfortable. So, but that family, that making sure that we have those children and grandchildren and nieces, and because that helps. That helps in ways that you've already gone through the loss, but to go through that without a family connection would be awful. Awful.
Mm-hmm. Reverend Graham, anything to add?
Yes, and like Pastor Alson said, there's no tailor-made answer, and no two people grieve alike. But the loss is real, and sometimes the family, they have their hurts, but they kind of hold them close, and anything the spouse who is still alive wants to talk about, they can't hear. I find in some cases, I remember one daughter saying to me, I can't bear that kind of talk. I won't be here. But I go and I invite them to talk about their life with the spouse and talk about what they miss, and and it doesn't take away the grief and the pain, but it helps. Someone is there to listen to me. Someone believes my hurt, my pain, my aloneness. In many cases, especially when spouses have shared a close relationship and one has depended on the other. When the other goes, it is like, I want to go too. My life is ended. But a little visit, and it doesn't have to be half the hour, a little visit to say you're still breathing, or to even engage them in breathing. Breathe in the love of God. Breathe out some of the pain that you are having. The breath of God is very important. And then sometimes they'll share, like, well, some things they may still want to do. Like I'll say, you know, you have your grandchildren. Share about your relationship with your grandchildren. Tell them they love you, share. But it is just holding them very carefully and lovingly in that pain. I don't know if I will go first or if my husband will go first, but even now I am thinking, well, what do I do when he's not here? And you sort of like
and if you're at that age where, or your physical capacity is such that you're still mobile, that you can do things, you know, you either redirect them towards family members or friends or the community in general, if you're able to do that as well. I would imagine that would help also.
Keeping people active, and in things that they're interested in. I mean, it's so important because that we are tripartite, or at least we're, in a sense, body, soul, and spirit, and that holistic approach to life is not just this little sliver of what my life is like. And the reality is that when we're connected with someone else in marriage, we share our whole being with that person in a way that we don't share with anybody else. And in a sense, when that person is gone, there's a piece of us, and it's lost, that we cherish. And it's not like we say, "Wait, I've seen it." It's not like I don't want to talk. I can talk about that, but I'm not dwelling on it all the time because it's something I cherish. And nobody's going to understand. No one will really understand what that particular relationship was like. But somebody coming in, and whether it's a pastor, but a friend or family members, and allowing them to, from time to time, something comes up and they'll want to talk about it. Or they'll look at you go in, obviously a lot of homes will have the pictures, and you go there, they may reflect on that picture and when it was taken and what it meant to them at that time. So it's all part of this journey of aging and reflecting, and you wanting to be part of that. To me, one of my greatest pleasures really is visiting with my seniors, those who are in their up 80s now and in 90s. I got a couple of them. There's one of them who's only about 2 years away. If she lives, she'll be 100 in about 2 years from now, and she's in pretty good shape. But you know, yes, sometimes when we're talking with seniors in that age group, you hear the same story fairly frequently. Must have been important. They remember it. You know, the reality is the things that impact us emotionally, we never forget. And they're tucked away somewhere there in our conscious and subconscious and memory bank. And so if people are talking about the same story again, let them talk about the same story again. I found that, for example, even with my mother, when she was, she was definitely experiencing some of the symptoms, the effects of Alzheimer's, I guess it was. It was difficult for my father because it was his wife, and saw her. He couldn't handle her talking about an event that he knew she didn't really experience the day before. But she would tell me what she did the day before, which I know she didn't do it the day before. But I allowed her to talk, and I asked questions. She would say she had gone down to her father's place where she grew up as a child. And so I asked her about, where these things were. And she just talked. My dad was, he couldn't handle it so well. He wanted to correct her. But I can understand why. If it was my wife and she was going through that, and he realized that was not, she didn't leave the bed, she didn't leave the house. So it is a journey that for people who are aging and having these kind of losses, whether it's in anticipation or the real has happened, we really need the community, the family and the community connection. Yes. It helps people to go through these steps and journeys, and it's in a sense, it's a loss that's enriching. They're experiencing a loss, but we are being enriched in a way of being connected with them that we wouldn't be connected if all we knew were the little stories we learned growing up. Now we're seeing a whole picture of a person, and we are experiencing that with them. It helps them and it helps us.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Ms. Loy, I guess that touches right on the personal growth part of things as well, doesn't it?
Sure, because we also know that even though we have these challenges and so forth, that personal growth and development is possible even in the face and in many instances because of loss, and whether it's a physical loss or social loss. So we want to kind of segue into talking about personal growth now. And what is personal growth? What does it mean to panelists, either of you? What is the meaning of personal growth?
I talk a lot. I'll let you talk.
I usually say I talk a lot. What is personal growth? We hit on the fact that we die many deaths, not only once. And, well, with the with death, there is always resurrection, huh? And personal growth for me is evolving to a new stage of understanding of life, not discarding the old things that are good, but bringing them along with you and moving to a deeper stage of being where you appreciate first everything about you. You not only appreciate, accept everything about you, so that in doing that, you accept others as they are. For me, it goes back to when I was a child. I thought of as a child, I reasoned as a child, but now I have become an adult. I put away childish, not childlike, childish things. And so every stage becomes a stage for growth. I remember, and it is a criticism, but I smile because I know I have grown. Somebody said about me once, boy, she has really grown. Because before, and you do anything, and it is not to hurt Lakin or anything, she would tell you off, she would chew you out, and she would move on. That is a harsh criticism, you know. But I took it to say that was where you are. But with the help of God, you are no longer there. you have moved into a kinder being, one who, through the grace of God, is attuned to others, accepting of others, and growing to be more and more like God in Jesus Christ. So for me, that is personal growth.
Okay, folks, top of the hour headline news. When we return, the conversation with Miss Lois Kellyman, Reverend Mary Graham, and Pastor Alson. Ebanks will continue, so please stay tuned.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
Speaking to this year's Earth Day theme, Invest in Our Planet, the Premier says sustainability is a path to prosperity for humanity and businesses alike. He says in particular, unsustainable development and climate change risks are, quote, not just to our physical environment, but to our unique Caymanian culture as well. A growing list of countries have evacuated diplomats and citizens from Sudan's capital as fighting continues into a second week. More than 1,000 EU citizens have been airlifted out, many on French and German rescue missions. The United Kingdom evacuated diplomats and their families yesterday, but an estimated 4,000 British citizens remain in the country. One businessman described a, quote, nightmare for those left behind, but the Foreign Secretary in the UK says help will remain, quote, severely limited without a ceasefire. The U.S. has airlifted embassy staff out of Sudan by helicopter, but says it will not evacuate U.S. citizens living in the country. A BBC reporter in the capital says they can hear less gunfire today, and people are emerging from their homes to buy food. Fighting between the Sudanese army and RSF paramilitary forces have left 420 people dead since it started on April 15th. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
the headline news are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
HSA's cardiology clinic is now located at Smith Road Medical Center. Our cardiology team provides expert care and treatment for heart conditions such as coronary artery disease, heart failure, arrhythmias, hypertension, congenital heart diseases, among others. The new location offers state-of-the-art cardiac diagnostic testing, including echocardiograms, ECGs, and stress tests. To contact, call 949-8600. At HSA, your heart matters to us.
For the record, with Orett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Miss Lois Kellyman, Reverend Mary Graham, and Pastor Alson. Ebanks, before we go back to the discussion, one of our listeners, well, first of all, Pastor Alson also wanted to wish Pastor Winston Rose a belated happy birthday. He celebrated his birthday on Friday as well. And one of our listeners has said, well, said that I said, if you know anyone who's celebrating a birthday, pass it on to us. And I certainly did that. So they said that Pastor Capel Thompson celebrating a birthday. Elder Rebecca Mirage, Miss Georgette Myrie, Miss McKenna Anderson, and Carol Whitaker. And they have also advised me that Trudy and Roy Connolly will be celebrating their wedding anniversary tomorrow. And those greetings are coming from Miss Julie Banks and her family as well. Okay, Miss Lois, over to you.
So we've been talking about self-reflection, and like I said, it helps to lead us into the area of what we call personal growth. Reverend Mary gave us her version of what personal growth is for her. And so that was just an example or sort of demonstrating that personal growth. There really is no definition for it. I mean, if you look it up and if you Google it, you don't see it come up in Webster's dictionary. So there's no real definition for it. However, it is something that touches all, can be applied to all areas of our lives, whether it's academically, socially, professionally, personally. It can mean emotional and mental health, or spiritual growth, or it can mean looking at hobbies and creativity. But it's also more than that. So personal growth is not, let's look at things that it's what it's not. So personal growth is not perfection, right? It's not about being better than anyone else or everybody else. It's not just only benefiting you for that moment. It is something that continues to live with you. And it's not just about you or just for you, because in terms of your personal growth, sometimes it's about how you relate to people around you. You know, how those relationships change, how they get better, how you react.
I get comments. One young lady said to me, I think it was last week, she said, "You're an inspiration to me." This is at the gym, because my wife and I go there. It's actually my wife's fault that I actually started going to the gym. And it was the best thing I can fault her for a long time, because I would have been about 64, 65. And I found myself staying in bed. I must have been going through some sort of depression, but I was staying in bed later and later every morning. I still had the same challenges, various kinds, because you can't be a pastor without having challenges. But our son came up with the brilliant idea that we should go to the gym, go to CrossFit, and so my wife decided she was going to give me a gift certificate to join the gym, and she gave herself one as well. And it really was the start of something that was really, so it's been 9 or 10 years now, whatever the math is, and that we've been going. I didn't realize it had been so long, but that was so helpful, because again, the serendipity of it is that it wasn't just about going to the gym and working on the physical side of it. I've learned so much about other things, because life is this interlocking web of things. It's just been amazing, but also, as Lois said, your own personal growth, your attempt to go there and to face challenges. This is, to me, one of the ways I think of personal growth, is that challenging yourself in areas that you can't compare yourself to others who are, let's say, in the same area. You're just challenging yourself. You want to get better. I mean, at the stage at the gym right now, when it comes to lifting weights, there are children who could be probably my grandchildren that are lifting more weights in terms of weight than I am able to do without killing myself, right? But I still have to challenge myself to do these things, part of my mobility and flexibility and all these things, because I feel that I am doing my wife a favor to stay as healthy as I can, as long as I can. I'm doing my children a favor by taking responsibility for my own health. It is a sad and dismal situation that is brought on us by prosperity, when people think that my doctor's responsible for my health. No, I'm responsible for my health. I have to take responsibility for my diet, for my exercise, my sleep, and all that sort of stuff. And so, but by doing it, as I said, I'm benefiting my kids. I want to be as active as I can, as long as I can, before they have to change my Pampers or whatever you do when you get that certain age, right? But even in doing it, when you are attempting it, and you know, they say, "How old are you?" Okay, wow, and it somehow inspires them as younger persons to work towards personal growth. So whether it's in the area of the arts, I mean, I still think one of these days I'm going to go back and build myself another potter's wheel and start doing pots again, because I haven't done it since when I was, teaching. But I still keep with music. I still keep up trying to write music and try to practice, learn some new things on the guitar. Because I realized my grandfather, I don't know if he developed arthritis or not, but up until he was in his 90s, he could still play. Whereas if you're not using these fingers, they freeze up on you. So whether it's in the arts, whether it's in your faith, whether it's in education, whatever it is, you just have to decide. I'm not going to follow necessarily what somebody else is saying you're supposed to do. But personal growth, by definition, is personal growth. And everyone these days, relationally, still figuring how to build stronger relationships and deal with relational conflicts in ways that I didn't do well earlier.
Yes.
But now I'm finding, there's some things that you can let go of because you realize your response or your reaction is what you're responsible for. You can't be responsible for how people speak to you, treat you, do what they do. But you certainly must be responsible for your own.
Yes.
That's part of personal growth. To realize I'm taking responsibility for my actions in all these areas.
Yeah, Reverend Graham?
I totally agree. And I really, really have to admire Pastor Alson in going to the gym and taking responsibility for his health. For a good time, my husband was trying to get me to walk. And
crossing on South Sun Road early in the mornings in this group.
well, I'm not going all out there. But around our neighborhood now, I'll get up early in the morning and I'll walk. And I find I can go even faster than I thought I could have. And not only that, I use the time, because I love nature, to be immersed in nature as I go along and to pray and all that. And I am feeling better because of it. A few days ago, an 85-year-old cousin who I had never met came to visit me from California. And the first thing she said, "Do you go to the gym?" Because I go to the gym every day.
85.
85.
All right.
Then she wanted to go to the beach. And she went and she said, "Oh, this is a little deep." She saw a man coming along. She said, "Would you help me in?" Again, part of personal growth, having to ask for what we need, because many times we don't ask.
Yes,
And he took her and she said, "Well, stay with me a little bit." So his wife said, "Is that your mother?" I said, "No, it's my cousin." And then when she was ready to come out, because I couldn't manage her in the sea, he called the wife, come. And the two of them brought her out. And the wife said, "Yes, you see, it takes a village to be there for each other." And that brings me on to, as family, we need to grow. As society, I'm going to say it, we need to grow in that area where we embrace our older sisters and brothers, because they have set the pace for us. They have left legacies for us. And what do we do? Because of our busyness, because of everything, do we leave them there? We need to be like that man and that woman, that husband and that wife, that put aside their walking for a little while to make an older person feel included, nurtured, and loved.
Yep, okay. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we return, Miss Lois, we're going to throw the mic back over to you. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
I tell you what, I need to find a way to bring my electricity costs down. I don't want to see another high bill next month.
Have you tried doing an energy audit?
A what?
An energy audit. The do-it-yourself energy audits on energy.gov.ky make it easy to find ways to save energy and money in your home or business.
Oh yeah? I'm going to log on to that website right now. What was it again?
Visit energy.gov.ky to download do-it-yourself energy audits for your home or business. There is even a fun activity guide for kids.
Complete an energy audit of your home or business before 31st of May 2023 to be entered into a prize giveaway. Prizes include a $5,000 gift certificate to Home Gas and gift certificates to Cooling Pros, Foam Pros, Costulest, and Foster's.
Visit energy.gov.ky today and follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and respiratory illnesses are among the top causes of death in Cayman every year. From June 3rd until July 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will conduct the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey to better understand the prevalence of non-communicable diseases within our nation. Log on to www.gov.ky/steps to learn more.
For the Record with Orett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the Record with Orett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record in our celebration of older persons in the Cayman Islands. We have in the studio with us this morning Miss Lois Kellyman, Dr. Mary, Reverend Mary Graham. I'm so accustomed to having Dr. Macfield on here. And Pastor Alson, Ebanks. Miss Lois, over to you.
Thank you again, O.C. As we continue our discussions, we were talking about personal growth a while ago, and Pastor Al was talking about the gym, and during the break we were asking you about your writing. We all know, I think the whole Cayman knows that OC is writing, and if he's not writing, then something is wrong. And I know sometimes people will will listen and they'll go, "Oh, but OC's been doing this for years, so he can do this now." I just want to put out there, and I think Pastor Al kind of alluded to that it's never too late to start something. So you can start it. Pastor Al said he started 10 years ago, and he said he was 70, which means he started at 60. I still haven't really started yet. But it's never too late to start something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and I think sometimes you start something and you don't get the same stimulus or response, and you think, well, I'm not going to do this. Because I used to go to another gym, but it was one, you went, you paid your dues, you went there, but you were on your own. Mm. And so after a while, it just became something that it wasn't that fruitful because it was not challenging. You see all these guys up there, they're bulking up and so forth. So when my wife signed me up for CrossFit, the one thing that I appreciated there was that there was always a coach, somebody to tell me what to do, and to make sure I didn't kill myself. Although, when I was, 10 years ago, I took more risks than I'm taking now. you sort of learn. But yes, it's not too late. I mean, there are others who start later on even than that, and you realize, okay, well, but this is for young people. No, it's in a sense, it's good for Norma and I to go there because then other persons say, oh, well, I guess you don't have to be a 25 or 30-year-old and interested in bulking up to go to the gym, and having a coach there, having somebody to help you to say, okay, you can't do it like this way, but you can do this instead, and you still get the same stimulus. Mm-hmm. Okay, and whether it's going to the gym or doing something else. For example, you're going to take a class, having a coach or a teacher there that instructs you, helps you. It's not that you're just sort of teaching yourself for example, my son also, this is, I don't know, probably longer than 10 years ago, he said, Dad, you are working too much. All you're doing working, all you're doing working. I wasn't really doing very much recreationally, just working. So he decided to buy me a fly rod and a fly reel and say, you're going to need to go back fishing again because that's supposed to be in your blood. So he got me learning a new skill, which is fly fishing is a new skill itself. Mm-hmm. And then we went several times to visited the Bahamas. We had fishing in the Bahamas, spending time in the Florida Keys. So it was a time for father and son. But I developed a love for that much more than going out and finding some stink bait. And these little flies, I can pull them up any time and go fly fishing. And so, what I'm saying is that it was, in both cases, I guess it was somebody looking at me and saying, my husband or my father needs some extra thing in his life except not just working. So my son got me into fishing. And most of the time I fish now is when he's here. Although my daughter is here and she's doing some fishing now, so I've been going out with her. But the gym was my wife. And so one person can stimulate and inspire others to do it. So, well, if he can do it, that's what some say. If he can do it, I can try at least. And I think that's a good thing.
Okay, we have a caller. Let's join the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to your panel. I guess I just turned on the radio a couple of minutes ago, and I found out we're talking about older persons. I don't know about the exercising part or anything like that. Maybe I'll listen more in here. But I wanted to bring to the attention of, I would say, our representatives and to the public. I'm not going to call the lady's name. Some people would know her, that she's been calling me. I've been going to visit. It's been going on for years and years. She's in her 90s, and she has two boys. One of them is a mental, they're grown people now. His mental state is really bad. She has really no help except her older son or younger son that lives right by her. He does her shopping and things like that. The other boy has back trouble. The one with the back trouble did work for many, many years. And like I said, I'm trying hard not to call names. I live in the district of Mount Pleasant.
I think, caller, maybe we can dispense with the history and just tell us what the issue is, please.
Issue is an older person, 90, I think she's 93 this year. She lives in the district of West Bay, Mount Pleasant, as you drive in Mount Pleasant Road, coming from the police station area. Many people know that woman. She has worked all the days of her life. The son that I was telling you about that has back trouble, he is so bent over that when he walks towards you, you only see the top of his head. The lady needs help. The lady needs just about everything. She doesn't get to church anymore.
So you're saying that there are no family members there who able to assist her based on the physical condition of the immediate family members. So it is something that either the community or the government needs to intervene in?
Yes, OC, and I thank you for saying that. I thank you very much, because I called her, she calls me, and most of the time she is crying because she see these two sons there, one laying on the floor. Well, they do have beds, but he lies on the floor, the mental one, and the other one, like I said, he is so bent up that he looks like an animal walking toward you. He talks. He had once worked in, I think, in the environmental. She has a big family, but most of them are getting...
Caller, if we could dispense with the family history, because that might, based on what you're saying, people may be able to identify the individual, and we want the person to remain as anonymous as possible. But again, let's get to the point in terms of what assistance you believe that can be or should be rendered to her so that our panelists can then respond.
Assistance with maybe a worker does come there late in the evening. Assistance with her getting to a doctor. Mm-hmm. Assistance with cleaning the house. Mm-hmm. Like I said, she cleaned and worked in places that she can no longer do it at the age she is. Mm-hmm. She also has when her arms does not function right. Assistance with pastors or Christian people visiting her. Assistance with just about everything. I've said this on the radio before. The lady needs help. Not now. Has been for many, many years. Okay. I thank you for listening, and I hope that she gets some help, because she does not deserve the way that our community is treating her.
One second, caller. Ms. Lois wants to say something to you.
Caller, can I ask you please to call our department, 949-0290, so that you can give more of the details to us. Ask for the Elderly Services Unit or the Community Development Officer for West Bay. What we will do is take the information, we'll go and do an assessment, and we'll try to include and work with the family as much as we can and the community to see what help she's not getting now, what additional help she can get. Okay, so the number 949-0290, Department of Children and Family Services. Either ask for Elderly Services Unit or the West Bay Community Development Officer, and we will assist you.
Okay, I want to thank that caller for that. So we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Ensuring your existing appliances and equipment are cleaned and maintained regularly is an easy way to improve energy efficiency in your home.
Have your air conditioning equipment serviced by a professional. Make sure bathroom and kitchen exhaust fans and refrigerator coils are cleaned regularly, because the harder your appliances have to work, the higher your bills will be.
The do-it-yourself energy audits on energy.gov.ky make it easy to find ways to save energy and money in your home or business.
Complete an energy audit of your home or business before 31st of May 2023 to be entered into a prize giveaway. Prizes include a $5,000 gift certificate to Home Gas and gift certificates to Cooling Pros, Foam Pros, Costyless, and Foster's.
To learn more, visit energy.gov.ky today and follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and respiratory illnesses are among the top causes of death in Cayman every year. From June 3rd until July 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will conduct the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey to better understand the prevalence of non-communicable diseases within our nation. Log on to www.gov.ky/steps to learn more.
Vaccines are safe and save lives. If you think you or your loved ones haven't received all their vaccines, you can get up to date. Let's play catch up on routine vaccines. Call the Public Health Department today on 244-2648 to schedule your appointment. Together, we can work to make our community fully vaccinated and healthier than ever before, one vaccination at a time. This message is brought to you by the Public Health Department in conjunction with the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
For the record, with Orett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Again, it's part of our series on older persons. This morning, we are having a discussion with Miss Lois Kellyman, Reverend Mayor Graham, and Pastor Alson. Ebanks. Before we do have another caller on hold, we'll take that caller. Before we go there, though, this person has written and said that it is their opinion that our community has thrown away the things that we were grounded in. It has become the instant pudding society. We want things instantly. We have become a mirror of Kentucky Fried Chicken, instant full stomach, then throw away the package. We do not see the danger to our health and to our environment as well. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, O.C.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, man, it's been a long time. I haven't really spoken to you, but happy Monday morning anyway, man.
Thanks, and same to you.
And happy Monday morning to the panel. I always did have a lot of respect for children and family services. I always thought that they're one of the best departments in government, no, without a doubt. I would like to say a word to Pastor Alson, man.
I'm here.
Yes, Pastor. My name is Leon Ebanks, man. You know, we went to school together, and I was very close to your family.
Yes, Leon.
I miss them.
Yes.
I miss them. I miss them like you do. And it's so good, though, to still be alive that I can talk to you, man. Because, you know, I keep thinking of you sometimes, especially when I hear your music. And I always say to myself, like, it's only Ebanks could sing like that.
Self-praise,
yes, because,
I suppose.
you know, I did about 7 years in music, and I became Cayman's #1 singer back in the 70s there up at Club Inferno and things like that. It just, you know, sometimes I think about it, Pastor Alson, I believe that, really, really, really believe that was my calling from God.
Yes, you and your brother, both.
Yes.
You had the gift.
Yes, that was my work that I was supposed to do instead of going into construction. You know what I mean? But Pastor, one thing I want to say to you, man, you know, about the gym. Pastor, I have been there. I should be there right now because I'm gaining weight at 75, man, and that's not a nice thing. But I've been there before, and that's one of the best things that I did in my life, was to go into the gym. And you know, if I really could afford it right now, I would go back there.
Yes, you know, Leon.
But Pastor, we can remember growing up and how those men had looked in those times, including your father, and the kind of physique that they had.
Hard work.
Right?
Hard work.
Yes. Pulling oars and things.
Yeah, those were the gyms.
Those were the gyms.
Yes. So anyway, Pastor, it's good to hear your voice again. Sometimes before me or you go on the final journey, I'm hoping to get on Walker's Road and come and look for you, man. One
Sure.
day.
Might even go fishing together.
Or even closer. I think I still remember where you stay. Down on Watercourse Road there, and
yeah, well, I've migrated to Georgetown over 30 years ago now. So you have to find me at the parsonage next to the church in Georgetown. That's where I am, Leon. Although I do still come to West Bay, I want to keep my citizenship in West Bay active.
Yeah.
Look forward to talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much, caller. Mr. Loy, over to you.
So just a quick word. I know we're talking about exercise in the gym for older persons. We do have exercise for older persons on a weekly basis in each of the districts, except for East End at this present time, because East End is doing another physical activity for their seniors. But it's free. If you want to know when it is, I'm not going to take the time to give all the information because it's different for each district. But you call again the Department of Children and Family Services and just say that you want to know about the district exercise sessions for seniors that happen on a weekly basis. It's free. It's welcome to all seniors. Number 949-0290. Okay.
And it's on a weekly basis for each district.
It's on a weekly basis in each district.
Good to know.
All right. So again, it's about trying to get us out there, and the exercise. It's in conjunction with the Department of Sports. The exercising is not. I know sometimes older people say, "Oh, I can't do that. That's too much for me," but it's tailored to each person. So you do what you can do, and what you can't do, it's fine. Nobody's going to criticize you or whatever.
It's amazing what kind of exercise what kind of workout you can get just sitting in a chair doing certain exercises in a chair. It's amazing. Otherwise, wow, this is hard.
Just wanted to say that quickly.
We have another caller. You want to take the caller first, or you want to cover this? What do you?
Can I just cover this little
part? Go right ahead.
We were talking about personal growth, and different things for different people. It's also about lifelong learning. It's learning new things. So it's not about academics at this point necessarily for older persons, but it might be simple things like learning to paint. Might be just taking up a brush and some paint and trialing it out. Miss Lassie did that in her later years, and she became very famous for it. So I know people who have now started learning to play the piano or whatever. So it's about getting into those experiences, things that you never had the time to do before, but also things that you might look at and go, wow, I never did that. And I know that I've gone to art class and I look at it and they tell me that this is what I'm going to paint, and I think, oh, I'll never get out of here tonight. But I do it. I've taken my mother to do things like that. And again, I just wanted to, on the personal growth, I know there are barriers to personal growth for people. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's because you're still involved with families and grandchildren and all that sort of thing. But Pastor Al said a very important thing, and I think we may have missed it. He talked about his wife taking him to exercise classes, but he talked about the coach. And he also talked about his son re-engaging him in fishing again. And sometimes as families, we try to draw older people out, or even persons in the community, to try to draw them out to get them engaged. And sometimes it's difficult, but we need to just keep trying. And sometimes we just need to sit with them and do it, just gently do it, and then they will come. So I just wanted to
Sure.
encourage that for all of
Definitely.
us.
Yeah. Let's grab the caller before we go to our commercial break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.T.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning to Pastor Al, President Mary, and my good friend Lois.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Dennis.
Yeah, I think I recognize your voice.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I've reached that age now where they don't make parts for people like me anymore. So I have to be very conscious of what I do. It's so refreshing to hear. Unfortunately, when you guys are talking about losing your lifelong companion, I had to get out of my car, and when I got back in, it was all finished. But as you all know, I lost my life partner 4 years ago. We were only together 51 years. But while I miss her, we have two beautiful daughters, and one is in Florida and one is here. And it never crosses my mind to remarry and all of that. So maybe I'm different from. And I know I can't replace her. And the children said, "Daddy, you don't need any more wives because mommy was enough for you." And I tend to agree, but I have no qualms about getting married, and I'm certainly not seeking any kind of relationship. But it's always good to know that other people. Because I had my council chairman, my council secretary. He got married after 1 year because his wife passed away 10 days after mine. But he was married in less than a year, so I don't know. He seems to be happy. I'm glad for him. But it's almost like it's not on my bucket list, But I do appreciate people older than myself. Because my vice president is, my goodness, he'll be 88 shortly. And he's still up and about. But I was thinking, my mother, God rest her soul, she was, we grew up in Jamaica, and she was like the Kellyman Black connection in Jamaica because she took care of everybody. And from the time I was very young, even when I left university, before I went on the ships, I was a member of the junior chamber in Jamaica. As a matter of fact, I was found a member of one of the St. Andrews JCs. So I've always had that feeling of doing good for other people, especially older people than myself. And I'm not sure whether it was ingrained into me because of my mom or what, but people nowadays seem to have lost that connection with their children. I don't know why. But I'm very fortunate. By the grace of God, I'm at an age now where I recall what my father used to say to me, "Whoa, I'm on borrowed time, but I want to borrow some more." So yes. I still want to thank God for my 75 years, but I ask Him to give me more.
Okay.
So the topic is a good one, and I appreciate all of you people there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much, caller. Ms. Susan, we're going to take this last commercial break, but what we're unfortunately going to have to do is to close the phone lines out because we still have a few topics to talk about. Sounds as if we need to go until midday today rather than now. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Kellyman.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and respiratory illnesses are among the top causes of death in Cayman every year. From June 3rd until July 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will conduct the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey to better understand the prevalence of non-communicable diseases within our nation. Log on to www.gov.ky/steps to learn more.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my healthcare instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
For the record, with Orett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show. This morning has been, very illuminating, very interesting as well. And we want to thank everyone who participated by calling in or sending us messages either by email or WhatsApp as well. And just a big shout out to Miss Susan Ebanks of West Bay, who is also celebrating her birthday today. So Miss Susan Ebanks of West Bay celebrating her birthday today. Miss Lois, back over to you.
Thank you, OC. Like you say, it's been very interesting. I'm really thankful for the callers who have called in and shared with us. Just want to say the last caller said that he had lost his spouse and wasn't thinking about getting remarried again. Some people do it quickly. It's what works for you. Mm-hmm. You know, what makes you comfortable and what works for you. But the important thing with that caller is that he continues to be engaged, and that's important. He talked about a little bit about, which we haven't really touched on, about doing things for people and volunteerism. And volunteerism can be done at any age. I have a 83 now, year-old aunt in New York who sadly lost her daughter about 10 years ago, who's my age, and she really mourned and grieved for a very long time. But then she decided that she was going to go back out again and do some volunteering. And she volunteers in a hospital that allows, her background was nursing, and she did a lot of pediatric nursing. And she now volunteers in a hospital where she goes into the neonatal unit, ICU, and reads to the baby, cuddles them, and that sort of thing. And it has just given her so much joy. She's alive again. I mean, I remember having said to her, you know, you need to get through this. You need to get through this. And don't care what we did, it didn't happen. But she's found something that has given her joy again. She will not miss it. You can't talk to her that morning that she needs to go out to volunteering. It's until after. So, you know, there are different things that will, as older persons, that we can do, that we can seek out to do. And we talked about, again, families. It's important for families and communities to help the older persons, because sometimes they don't know. So it's important for us to be able to say to them, you know, this is something that you might be interested in. Let's go and do that. But we talked about personal growth, and one of the things that and self-reflection and all that sort of thing. But another possible way to get back on track for personal growth is through meditation. So in a nutshell, meditation is about cultivating presence, awareness, and non-judgmental. So just wanted to ask my panelists this, and we're going to segue this into spirituality
Yes.
afterwards. We have a couple minutes left, but anyway, how do you define meditation? What does it look like for older persons? What are the physical, psychological, and spiritual benefits to meditation?
Well, usually you get big ones at the very end when you only got 10 minutes to talk about stuff.
I know.
But let me see. The other night I was outside, took my dog out to do her last things before she went back inside. And we were out so long that we have a motion detector light on the eave of the house. It went out. And I got to look up at the heavens. And I stood there and I looked and I thought, wow. And that's with the light pollution that we have around Georgetown. So I really couldn't see, but it did. I thought, wow. If I were in the Amazon when there's no light pollution, imagine what the sky would look like, how brilliant the stars. And then I started thinking, how is it possible for people to think that this all came about by accident? I mean, to me, it's incredulous. I mean, yeah, you mightn't have an idea who God is or what He's like yet, but to think that this universe, and you're looking, I can see why primitive people begin to worship the stars and the moon and everything else, because it's so fascinating thinking, I'm just a little nothing here, a little speck, and this huge universe I'm looking at. And when you are, I did spend about, I think, 2 weeks in the jungles of Peru as a student, and that's when I really got to see what a night sky looks like. I mean, you see the depth, the stars until, my eyes were better then too. But again, to me, meditation is not this formal thing of me sitting down with legs crossed and saying, whatever. It is that reflection on the transcendent and on the transient. Me, I'm transient. I'm passing. I ain't gonna be here forever. And the transcendent is beyond me, and it helps to simply take time to think and to ponder, in a sense, almost the imponderable, because you can't really get your head around it. It's like, this is too big. It's like, I suppose you sailed on the seas at one point in time.
I did my 9 months.
9 months. I mean, that had to be a new paradigm in understanding, hey, this is I'm like a nothing on this.
Yes,
I'm on a big ship, but that's nothing compared to this ocean.
Yeah.
And so it should sort of get an impetus to say, thinking and reflecting on our own, as I say, transience, our own temporary nothingness in a sense. And yet it's sort of like the psalmist says here, when I consider the heavens, the work of your hands, and in all that you've done, what is a human being that you even think of us?
Yeah.
And then to say, wow, that to me, that's a segue into the next. I talk about spirituality is recognizing, even some people who are avowed atheists, as they get to understand more about their field of science, they have to say, you know what? There's got to have been a creator. This thing just could not have happened by itself, and it would prompt us then to actually take some time to think and to meditate, to ponder.
Reverend Graham?
I am on the same wavelength with Pastor Al, but getting right here in Cayman, we have such a wonderful environment. And many times, even for the older persons who may be wheelchair bound, just to take that person outside to observe, because they're up early, a sunrise, a sunset, even to go on a bench and to see the flowers or to hear the birds singing. It just draws you into the fact that there must be a creator. I remember the Easter of COVID, when it was locked down. And I went outside to purposely wait for the sunrise. I went out this Easter and it was not as beautiful as Dennis, probably because we're out again. But what a beautiful sunrise that morning. And I was like a little girl jumping up and down, screaming hallelujah, saying, Desmond, come, get up, get up, get up, come see the sunrise. And many times we don't appreciate what we have and how God is in the midst. And being out there, it just engulfs us and takes us closer to Him who is nearer to us than our very breath. Sometimes even for those who may read the Bible or whatever, but not going through just reading it, I just say, okay, I'm going to read this for you. Anything that jumps out at you, hold on to it. That is yours. And just let it speak to you. Let it walk with you through the day. That is just a minor form of meditation. But the outside is very important in our environment. Sometimes I say to persons, like to caregivers, just take him or her for a little spin around the neighborhood. Not too fast. Let life speak to them. Let life bring life back into them. Because caregivers, some of them do the best they can. They still need that encouragement, not just to sit with them and wait till they want something to hand them, but to create experiences with them, even though like they may have a stroke and they can't speak, they can still embrace the aliveness of the environment. A doctor, she said to me, oh, your mom liked outdoor before. Get a bench. Put it outside. Take her outside. Put her on the bench. Let her imbibe the goodness of God, the creation. So the meditation is so important. Sometimes even allowing them to close their eyes and visualize. That just stimulates and brings the presence nearer to them.
Okay. One of our listeners has written in and said, I remember Aunt Julia Hides in her late 90s used to go to the Pines every Saturday evening to visit and to sing. To visit and to sing for the elder persons there. One of those was her niece who was in her 80s. And they say that it kept Aunt Julia going by visiting others as well. Sure. Yes. Miss Lloyd, we're going to let you have the final say this morning.
So I just want to say, again, really thanks to the panel and for having the callers who have joined us. Thank you, OC, for hosting us and accommodating us. And for Susan, who is always in the background, keeping us on track with timing and all that sort of thing. Also, thanks to the ministry and the Older Persons Council for the part that they do in helping us as we do the work we need to do with our older persons. But again, thanks to the community and in general there's a lot more work we need to do with embracing our older persons, keeping them engaged, learning from them, because they still have a lot to offer.
Yes.
And just having them be a part of our everyday lives. So we still have that work to do, but there are lots of people out there who are doing it, and we want to thank you. We want to thank the older persons for their contributions to the Cayman Islands and to what our society is today. Just want to leave some key messages with us. One, that although aging comes with challenges, the good news is that there are steps we can take to make the goal of aging gracefully more attainable. We give some tips through our Rediscovering Me series. So it's about rediscovering me for the older person, but for us who are around the older persons, helping them to rediscover them and rediscovering sometimes ourselves through their discovery. As people live longer, there's more access because information is more accessible through our technologies and that sort of thing. There are a lot of older persons who've gravitated to our technologies. Some of them are better than me on it. And some are a little shy of it and a little scary of it. But let's help them to get on that path with us as well. So there are opportunities now, because older persons have a little more time to really look at new experiences and enjoy new experiences, to get in touch with themselves, where they are, where they want to be, look at things that they may have wanted to change in lives. Sometimes they have not reached that point of spirituality in their lives, and it's just how to go forward with that. So these are the things that they will look at, and we want them to know that it's never too late. Involvement in leisure activities, learning new things, all help, and new experience in new adventures, all help to keep older persons engaged and help older persons to enjoy longer, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. So that's where I'd like to leave it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I don't know if...
No, we ran out of time, I think.
Yes.
Thank you for allowing us to be part of this.
I've just been asked to share this with our audience. They're inviting residents of the West Bay, in particular the Mount Pleasant, Garston Smith, Scholars Drive, Apple Blossom Gardens, Captain Joe and Osbert Drive, entrance to Willie Farrington Drive and Badabanu Road and the West Church Street, to attend a very important meeting on Thursday, the 27th of April at 7 p.m. at the Church of Christ in Badabanu Road. This meeting is to discuss the new development in Badabanu with Mr. Kenneth Ebanks, former Director of Planning, and the serious issues of potential flooding of properties, homes, and roads in the Mount Pleasant and other areas beyond. So, folks, I want to thank you. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency. Visit energy.gov.ky or follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram. And by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/